Good day to each and everyone. My name is Desiree Espinosa. So today we're going to discuss some of the example of poetry. We have Mother Goose Nursery Rhymes, The Owl and the Pussycat by E. Lear, Jabberwocky by L. Carroll, Little Red Riding Hood by R. Dahl, and Life Doesn't Frighten Me by M. Angelou. Phrase Mother Goose refers to a large category of nursery rhymes and stories that are typically written with young children or beginning readers in mind. The rhymes appear to have a common shape, goal, and distinctive tone at first glance, but beyond this fundamental characteristic, they truly represent a broad mix of lyrical stories that have little in common. The stories we think of as the classical Mother Goose rhyme are actually a collection of contradictory folk tales, poetry, and creative exercises that have a prototype sound and duration, but differ greatly in origin, age, and content. The rhymes are frequently taught to young kids as their first introduction to literature, and it is believed that doing so will teach them how to express their ideas in a coherent manner through language. The persona is this is the most well-known unnamed author of well-known children nursery rhymes is Mother Goose is Charles Perrault, who invented the fairy tale genre and originally used her name in a work whose subtitle became known as Tales of Mother Goose deserves credit for publicating her 1695. Over the centuries, countless versions of nursery rhymes have been told and illustrated. American literature has chosen that we believe to be the best. William Wallace then Slow's Mother Goose by Anonymous in 1901 for its crubic, mischievous, and sentimental illustration of well-loved nursery rhymes. The setting of this is some believe that the original Mother Goose was the real woman who lived in Boston during the later half of the 17th century. After being widowed by Isaac Goose, a woman named either Elizabeth Foster Goose or Mary Goose, depending on the sources, moved in with her eldest daughter, entertaining her grandchildren with amusing jingles, which quickly gained popularity with the neighborhood children. According to the legend, her son-in-law, a publisher, printed her rhymes, and thus the reputation of Mother Goose was born. The theme of this is children have been reading Mother Goose nursery rhymes for decades. Such rhymes discuss moral and material future of children. It uses a wide variety of figures of speech and tones to describe the various parts of childhood. The tone of Mother Goose nursery rhyme is consistently positive. Famous nursery rhyme author Mother Goose was able to use the appealing rhyme pattern across the entire poem Mother Goose nursery rhyme. The poem first may appear to be a straightforward and generally lightened work, but it actually has an undertone of humanity's past judgment. The following lessons are: first, don't ever compare yourself to other writers. Second, always be polite, especially when meeting or corresponding with literary agents and editors. Third, don't be discouraged by writer's block. Before you know it, inspiration will return. Fourth, overcome obstacles to writing success by taking action. Fifth, write something every day. Sixth, you never know who will enjoy your work. So now proceed to the next poem, which is The Owl and the Pussycat by E. Lear. The Owl and the Pussycat is a popular children's poem that celebrates love and happiness. The poem follows the owl and the pussycat on the sea voyage, where they woo each other and the pussycat proposes marriage. They buy a ring from a piggy wig, get married with the help of a turkey, and enjoy delicious food and dance in the moonlight. Their shared love is defined by their commitment, and the relationship never faces any obstacles. The poem is a fantasy of ideal romance, everything being sweet and light. The couple feeds on the sweet streets like honey and queens using a runcible spoon, and they get married in the paradise like land. The poem suggests that true love should feel like this, and the couple is happy from start to finish. Next is the persona. Persona is to attribute human qualities to animate things. Edward has used this device throughout the poem to present the owl and the pussycat as humans. They dance, sing, get married, and also praise each other, just like human. For example, Anne sang to a mall guitar. They danced by the light of the moon, and Pussycat said, "All you." The setting of this poem is for a short poem. The Owl and the Pussycat contains a surprising number of settings. It begins at sea, where the owl and the pussycat sails out on a nighttime voyage. Later, the couple arrives at the imaginary land, where the bong tree grows, where they find the piggy wig in a wood. They take the pig's ring away to some other location, where they are married by a turkey who lives on a hill. Finally, they wind up on a beach dancing by moonlight on the edge of the sand. Basically, the poem traces a whimsical journey. As a comic poem for children, it contains a lot of lively, silly action with a satisfying ending. The main characters end up more or less where they began at the edge of the ocean. Most of the action also takes place at night beneath the moon and stars, a perfect setting of lovers and for nocturnal cats and owls. Within the poem, the poet delves into themes of love, affection, and joy. To better understand this poem, it's helpful to know that it follows the unlikely love tale of an owl and a pussycat. They both embark on an adventure aboard a pea green boat and finally express their desire to marry. One possible lesson from the poem is the idea that love knows no boundaries and can bring together individuals from different backgrounds or species. Despite being different creatures with distinct habitats and habits, the owl and the pussycat form a deep bond and embark on an adventurous journey together, demonstrating that love can overcome differences and obstacles. Let's now proceed to the next poem, which is the Jabberwocky by L. Carroll. The poem follows a young boy who is warned to beware a creature called the Jabberwock. The boy ignores the warning and goes looking for the Jabberwock. When he finds the creature, he battles it and returns home victorious. His father greets him with praises. Persona of this poem is through the whimsical and fantastical imagery of the poem, Carol invites readers to embrace the playful side of language and to appreciate the beauty of words for their own sake. Jabberwocky celebrates the power of imagination and the limitless possibilities of language, reminding us that sometimes it's okay to let go of logic and simply enjoy the magic of words. Next is the setting. First, it takes place in the wave, which is in the line 2, which refers to something like a forest or maybe a marsh. We can infer this when the hero leans up against a tree and that the Jabberwock moves through the Togay wood in the line 15. Next is the theme. Understanding what is a Jabberwocky becomes clear by the end of the poem as the beast is beheaded. Its themes include heroism, the battle between good and evil, and the ultimate vanquishing of evil by the force of good. Lessons 8 encourage readers to embrace their creativity, face challenges with courage, appreciate the beauty of language, and persevere in the face of adversity. Let's now proceed to the next, which is The Little Red Riding Hood by R. Dahl. Little Red Riding Hood, a young girl, visits her sick grandmother through the woods. Along the way, she encounters a wolf who impersonates her and eats her. Various versions of the story, including the Brothers Grimm version, have Red and her grandmother survive and defeat the wolf. In the Brothers Grimm version, a huntsman kills the wolf and free Red and her grandmother. The story ends with them besting a wolf on their own. Persona Little Red Riding Hood, the main character of the story, is described as a very sweet young girl. She well liked by everyone she meets, especially her grandmother. However, she is also somewhat naive and too trusting towards strangers, which causes her a lot of trouble. Setting of this is the story of the Little Red Riding Hood has three main settings: the village, the woods, and the grandmother's house. The Little Red Riding Hood travels through the dark, thick, and dangerous woods. to reach her grandmother's house without knowing that she is being followed by the wolf. The theme of this and the moral of the story are practically identical, having to do with the danger of entrusting personal information to strangers when away from the safety of one's home and of disobeying one's parents. The main lesson of the story is we should never trust strangers, even a very friendly stranger may have a bad intentions. The sweet little girl, Little Red Riding Hood, finds herself in danger because she talks to the sly wolf and naively points out the direction of her grandmother's house. Let's now discuss the type of the characters. First, the round. Round refers to the characters we know a lot about. They're usually the main character of the story. There also are well-developed characters who demonstrate varied and sometimes contradictory traits. Next, the dynamic. Dynamic refers to characters that undergo internal change throughout the story. Next, the flat. Flat refers to characters we don't know much about. They usually don't have an impact on the plot. Next, the static. Static refers to characters that don't experience much change.